What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for Tea Time with Tatiana, your favorite time of the week. And listen, y'all, it is after midnight. It is me and you. And you're probably asking, girl, why are you doing this video and this podcast after midnight? It is because nobody is up. Nobody's crushing ice. Nobody's talking to me. Nobody's slamming doors. It is just me and you. And the place where I normally record, it's snowing outside, so I couldn't go anywhere today. So I promised you all an episode today. So here it is. And God bless you. But I am excited to be here. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, season 2, episode 10 of each season is usually the last episode of each season. And because I've had so much going on, I wasn't able to provide that video for you or podcast for you. So here I am. And I have a lot to update you on. So I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but I'm here and I'm excited to be here. And I'm glad that you are here. So yes, I said video. For those of you who are part of the Tea Party and are listening to this on your podcast, it is because I, Tatiana Samaria, now have a YouTube channel. Listen, I said this I did a welcome to my channel video. So please go to youtube.com/Tatiana Samaria. That is my YouTube channel, Tatiana Samaria. And when I said I've tried YouTube 5 times, I legitimately was not exaggerating. I've had a YouTube channel since high school. In high school, I was doing singing videos in my bathroom. I was singing Rihanna and Beyonce. I was doing a bunch of cover songs. And I stopped that because I hated how I sounded on camera. I just hated listening to myself sing. So I deleted that. And then a couple years after that, like I think it was my junior year or something like that, me and my best friend at the time had a YouTube channel as well. That was a fail. And then I had Tea Time with Tatiana, of course, which is now a podcast. And then I relaunched my podcast again. Well, I relaunched my YouTube channel again as Tea Time. And then eventually I was like, you know what? YouTube is too much for me. I don't think this is for me. And then, people started really getting into the podcast world. So that's the reason why I decided to do Tea Time as a podcast. But in 2020, God really dealt with me about a lot of things pertaining me. And I realized that I was extending my hand so much to other people and I wasn't giving myself enough. I was a lot of things for other people, but not enough for me. So that's the reason why I'm like, you know what, God, I'll give it a try one more time. So Tea Time, yes, I don't know if it'll be all the time. It really depends on the dynamic of the show, who's on the show, what I'm talking about, if there will be both a podcast and a video. But I decided to do it this time because, I'm trying it out. I wanted to see how it was. And I promised you an episode. So here we are, season 2, episode 10. And I am excited to be here. I love you so much. Thank you for listening. I'm very grateful for those of you who reach out to me saying, hey, sis, where's Tea Time? And I'd be like, I don't know. But seriously, thank you for checking in on me, for being accountable, for asking me like what's going on. Literally, I share my life with y'all, my updates all the time. So people are constantly asking me like, hey, it's so great to see you reaching your goals and different things like that. And I'm like, yo, I really appreciate y'all for paying attention. And then, of course, for sharing your life with me as well. Like those of you who are part of the Tea Party, y'all really be holding me down. Now, for those of you who are coming from YouTube and you have never heard of Tea Time with Tatiana or have never been a part of the Tea Party, welcome. Okay, your first step in being a part of the Tea Party is obviously listening to this video or this podcast, and I'm so happy that you're here. So the Tea Party, we are not perfect at all, but we come together each week to talk about real life issues that point back to a real life Jesus. Again, we are not perfect, but we talk it out each week. We go over our updates. We see and we talk about what our goals are for the next couple of weeks. We stay together and we talk about some of the stuff that we failed on a little bit. I'm saying like, sis, I ain't drink my water this week, and that's okay. It's okay. We talk it out. Then we go to our timeline rant. So what is everybody talking about on their timeline? We kind of give a different perspective of different topics that people are talking about. And then, of course, your girl, Tatiana Samaria. I'll leave you with the tea, a little nugget of the day, to go on and just be great. A word that you can carry on throughout the week. So that's what we're going to do today. And I have a lot of updates, obviously, because I've been going for so long. So where the heck do I start? And yes, I have everything written down because your girl's getting old. Okay, I don't remember things like I used to. And speaking of getting older, I turned 28, y'all, on January 18th. Y'all know that's my birthday, J18. If you follow me on all my social media pages, I always do a countdown every year because I be hype. And it's so crazy feeling how I feel, because I think I said this in one episode before, but when I turned 25, that's when like heavy anxiety started. And it was really because I was like, yo, I'm not getting younger. 25 is like that midpoint before you hit 30, and just like whoosh, life was just happening. And I realized that I wasn't where I thought I was going to be. Like at 25, I could have sworn I was going to be somebody's wife. I could have sworn I was going to be out of my mom and my daddy's house. I could have sworn I was going to be, if not in a career, at least working a job that I somewhat type of loved. And it was just a lot. It was an eye opener for me. So after 25, I was just like, listen, girl, you got to live. It's okay to get older. You're not old. Like we treat, turning 30 like we turning 90 years old. And after a certain point of me getting my anxiety together, I stopped looking at my age, very similar to what my dad does now. He tells everybody he's 30, and I just be like, he right. At this point, say whatever you want, doc. But yeah, so I stopped looking at age, and I'm just like, listen, as long as I'm here, as long as I am breathing, I would do whatever you tell me to do, God, and I will live. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I can't, God forbid, whatever. If I'm 40 years old, I can't have a child, or I can't do this. No, I'm going to do whatever God wants me to do whenever he wants me to do it in his timing. So I said all that to say my birthday was great. I actually spent the day with my mom, which was very good. And then I came home and had a little taco party. They made a taco table for me, had some balloons and all that good stuff. So I was really, really happy that it was a simple birthday, but I was very appreciative of where God has brought me and all the things that he is doing in my life, that he is going to do in my life. So yes, your girl turned 28, and I thought, being in the position that I am now, that I was going to be like, I was going to wake up nervous and, all that stuff and have high anxiety. But that whole day I was chilling. Like I was really, really chilling. And I was just like, I just woke up and I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you so much for allowing me to see another year. And I got this. Like, I got this, as long as I'm breathing, it's me and you against the world. So for those of you who wish me happy birthday, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't take that for granted at all. My second update, y'all, is I'm trying not to lose my mind working from home. Listen, in the beginning of 2020, I was all for it because I finally had the time and the space to do what I wanted, meaning I was able to be disciplined to a certain extent. So the kitchen was here. So I wasn't spending money on food. I literally intentionally cooked breakfast, lunch, dinner. I worked out right after work. And then y'all know I was doing real estate classes. So I had such a crazy schedule, but I stuck to it and I was Gucci. The second half of this year, I was so over it. And it was like I lost 10 pounds somewhere in the middle of 2020 and then gained it all back in the end. So like I said, at this point, I'm very over it and I'm trying not to lose my mind a little bit. And mainly because if I had my own space, I feel like it would be a little bit better, but it's just a lot. There's 4 people in my house working or going to school remotely. So it's just a lot. And after a certain point, it was just, I was very over it. So I'm trying not to lose my mind. The struggle is definitely real, but God is coming through for me. Let me tell you, he's definitely coming through for me. But anyway, since I've been here last, I have good news. Obviously, I've sold 2 homes. So, y'all know I'm a real estate agent here in New Jersey. I've sold 2 homes, and which was both transactions were very difficult. And I just kept saying, like, God, nothing ever comes easy for me. But I realized in order for you to learn, sometimes you have to have those struggles. So I was very happy that, first of all, both of them were able to close in the first place. But I was happy about what I learned, because I know now in difficult transactions what to do, how to negotiate, and different things like that. So yes, y'all, your girl got 2 sales under her belt, and I'm excited because there's a third coming up, and I'll get to that soon. But yeah, like, it was very, very tough. And let me tell you something. The real estate exam that I was stressing about a couple episodes ago in the beginning of 2020 does not prepare you to be a realtor. Okay, do not let anyone tell you, if you are pursuing a real estate career, let me tell you, I don't want to discourage you when I say that, because you do need to know all the information, obviously, to pass and get your license. But it does not prepare you fully to be a realtor. Experience prepares you. Having a trainer prepares you. Seeing a actual contract prepares you. Talking to a lender prepares you. Like, I literally, when I was doing my first transaction, I was just like, I'm thinking about everything in the book, and I'm like, this is like night and day. So the struggle was definitely real, but I got through it with God, and I just kept saying, you know what, whatever I don't know, I'm going to figure out, or whatever I don't know, obviously I can talk to my trainer. So thank God for that. But I made it through, 2 sales under my belt, and y'all, I'm excited to keep going. After I have this third one, I think I'll be a little bit better, because I'll be more familiar with the contract and dealing with a lender, dealing with a lawyer, dealing with inspections and appraisals and all that good stuff, which we'll get into in season 3. But yeah, I'm happy that I'm able to have that experience now under my belt, to be able to help future buyers and future clients close on their homes as well. So that's my other update. What else I got for you? Because it's a lot. I got a lot for you. What else? Oh, okay. I mean, well, while we're on the subject of houses, your girl is moving. Okay. I'm moving. And after I just talked about, nobody being down here to crush ice and to bother me while I'm doing this video, I'm moving. And I mean, I probably should have had like some clapping and stuff like that, insert right here, but it's just, I've been so busy that it hasn't really sunk in yet. I literally don't feel like it's going to sink in until I get the keys. Like, seriously. But anyway, God willing, I will be moving on February 12th, which is less than 2 weeks. And am I excited? Absolutely. Because I feel like God is about to just do some crazy things, not just in me, but in my home, and me creating, and me having my own space to just be me. And he's moving. He's really, really moving, y'all. And it's crazy because I had this conversation with my line sisters, and this was when I first started house hunting, which was like, I would say I started in like August, like the beginning of the process, as far as me getting pre-approved, and then of course searching for homes and different things like that. So the process was not short by any means, still not short. And I'll get into that on one of my YouTube videos. You'll see something coming up really, really soon. But I had a conversation with my line sisters while I was searching for homes and submitting offers and all that good stuff. And I texted them and I was like, listen, because they were like, have faith and God is going to do it for you. And I texted them back and said, oh, I know what he can do. I have faith in who he is. In no way, shape, or form do I doubt God. I know what he can do. I've seen what he's done. Nobody can tell me he's not real. Like, that's my homie for real, period. Ooh, that's my homie for real, period. But I text them back and I said, it's not about what he can do. It's if he would do it for me. And I said that because I'm not perfect. I'm actually a hot mess. And I thought about all the things that I didn't do and the things that God tells me to do and I don't, or the things that I'm very laxed about. I have no sense of urgency of doing when he tells me to do. And I just think about, just the human attributes that I have, that I hate that I have, but I do. And I'm like, God, I know I don't deserve what I'm asking you for, but will you do it for me? And it wasn't a question of, can you do it for me? Or Are you able to? Because it's like, I know what he can and is able to do. But my prayer was always, God, will you do this for me? And it was real. And I sent them that message and they were like, yo, sis, that's real. And I'm like, yeah, it's almost like, if your child has not been doing good in school or hasn't been doing good or hasn't been doing their chores, their room isn't clean or whatever. And they say, hey, mommy, hey, daddy, this is something that I really, really, really want. And sometimes you have those parents where obviously they're like, no, I need you to do X, Y, and Z before I give you what you just asked me for. But then there's some parents that are like, okay, if I do this for you, then you better have this, and this, and that. And I think God's character is both ways, depending on what you're asking for and who you are, obviously. And I just feel like I'm spoiled in each and every way with my natural father and my spiritual father. But every time I think about this, I'm like, God, that just means I have a lot of responsibility and a lot to do. But at the same time, I'm excited because I've been waiting for this moment for so long. And I'm going to do another episode about moving out in your late 20s because people think that this is like frowned upon. Like, oh, you need to move out when you're 19, 20, 21. First of all, you in my business. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like, I hate the question when people are always asking, you still live at home? Yeah, I still live where I want. Okay. And I'm graced and I love and I thank my parents for allowing me to be here for as long, as I am rent free. And I'm appreciative of them allowing me to evolve and grow in the timing that I needed to evolve and grow. There was no rush. There was no push. There was no, if there was a rush or a push, it was more so like, hey, like, what do you want to do? Pushing me into purpose, but not necessarily pushing me before it was time for me to grow or before it was time for me to understand where God had me. And that's why, I'm most excited about this right now because I just feel like it's completely God's timing. And every time I think about what I was doing or where I was years before and thinking about what I thought I was going to be at 28. And I'm just like, oh, there's just no way. Because what I know now, the fact that I know it now and didn't know it at 25, I would have definitely made so many wrong decisions because I'm just so much wiser now. And just thinking about what I study and the books that I read and the people that I speak to, I'm just like, God, this is your perfect timing. And even though because of society is saying that 28 you should be married, at 28 you should have your own place, at 28 you should be in your dream job, I just had to say, yo, forget age, forget numbers, forget anything. As long as I'm breathing, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to do what God tells me to do in his timing. I'm not rushing it. I'm not looking at numbers. I'm not looking at years. I am doing what my father tells me to do. So if somebody asks you why you doing what you're doing, tell them to mind their business. Like, you have no idea where I am. Go ahead, sis. Buy your house, buy your apartment, and be broke because here you are moving too fast when God ain't tell you to do that. Go ahead and buy that car with your 15% interest rate. Go ahead and be dumb and say it's a blessing when you know it's not. I'm sorry. Ratchet Tatiana came out. But no, seriously, like people always trying to block your blessing when you do things in God's timing, people will know that it was God. Period. And I know for a fact that God is going to provide for me. He's not going to want me to lose my house because who gets the glory out of that? I'm not worried about finances. I'm not worried about how I'm going to make the money, how I'm going to pay my bills, how am I going to get new furniture. I'm not worried about none of that because I know at the end of the day, my God is going to provide for me. And this was not supposed to be this deep into tea time, but that's one of my updates, y'all. I'm moving and I'm so excited. So please keep praying for me because y'all, if anybody has ever closed on a home, you know how long and strenuous the process is. So I'm not done yet. And I waited basically 50 now, about 50 days before I decided to tell you guys. And mainly just because I've been, it's been between me and God, and then of course me and my mortgage company. They're like, all right, don't get your hopes up yet. Like, you still got some documentation to send. And I understand, not prematurely telling people too much of your business because not even that, everybody ain't gonna be happy for you. So I had to make sure I protected my peace before I shared this piece of information. But in the next couple of weeks on the YouTube channel, you definitely will be getting lots and lots of content in regards to home buying, lifestyle, home decor, all that good stuff. I'll make sure that I could give y'all the tea on my channel. And I'm not going to neglect this podcast. I promise I'll be back with season 3, but I'm really planning season 3 is going to be what season 2 should have been. Okay, as far as it being planned well and people coming on the show, having guests and different topics and different things like that. So season 3 is coming, but I think you guys deserve this episode. It's been so long, so I felt like it was appropriate for me to update you and all that good stuff. I got more updates, y'all. Actually, there's only really one more. Losing weight will begin when I get out of this house. I just feel like I need control of my kitchen. I need control of my environment for me to do what I need to do. So I'm excited for that journey as well. I have so many things in my mind, so many ideas and so much food I want to cook, from Auntie Tabitha Brown, some vegan stuff I want to try. So yes, I've tried my best to drink as much water as I can. Y'all know my problem when it comes to losing weight. There's no happy medium for me. One moment I'm eating cucumber sandwiches and salad and, sandwiches without bread. And the next minute I want Chick-fil-A or I want Chipotle with like extra cheese or Moe's with extra queso and I don't know, extra pickles and French fries with extra honey mustard. Like there's no happy medium. It's either lettuce or fried chicken. And I don't even like fried chicken, so I'm gonna probably say fried fish. It's either lettuce or French fries. And there's no happy medium. So I'm excited to finally find the happy medium because my issue isn't losing weight. Y'all, when I'm focused, your girl can shed weight, okay? It's not losing the weight that's my issue. It's keeping it off. So that's what I'll be working on. Obviously, being in my own home and being controlled of my kitchen and being in control of my kitchen and being able to put myself on the schedule and the eating schedule and knowing what's coming in my house and what's leaving. Amen. All right. Those are all my updates, y'all. Tell me what's going on. Like, did y'all finish a class? Did y'all pay off a debt? Did y'all get married? Did y'all have a baby? Like, y'all start a business? Tell me what y'all did in 2020 because I know 2020 was a hell of a year. Okay. It was crazy. And I just want to see what 2020 was for you. For me, it was definitely an eye opener, and I'll get into that when I get into the tea of the day, y'all. I'm jumping ahead, y'all. We're not even at the timeline we're in of the day yet, and I'm just talking. All right, and we 22 minutes into this episode. Listen, y'all. All right, I'm not going to cover that much because I already been talking too much. All right, what we going to talk about today? The timeline rant of the day. The timeline rant of the day. Should that be the new song, y'all? The timeline rant of the day. Let's talk about, all right, we're going to talk about Chloe Bailey first because I want y'all to stop coming for my little sister. So if y'all don't know who Chloe is, she is the sister of Halle. So Chloe and Halle, right now, they are the best singing group out. And I don't care what you say, they are. And I mean vocals, production, music, stems, everything. They are the best, and fight me if you don't think they are. But anyway, Chloe is the oldest sister of Halle, and a lot of people are coming for her. So if you don't know, Chloe and Halle, obviously they're two peas in the pod. So all of their social medias were together. Obviously their group is together. They do everything together. Halle is away, I believe, filming for The Little Mermaid, and so they're separated, which they have never been separated before, but they have something called tea time, ironically, at 2:00, I think, every Tuesdays. So they're separated. So they decided to do separate accounts because they wanted to have a way that they can still be together and have this tea time, but be far apart. So they created separate accounts so that they can accomplish that. And Chloe has been creating some content, honey. Okay, she did the silhouette challenge, she did the busted challenge, and baby girl got body, yaddy, 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 yaddy. Okay, she got body, and I'm not mad at her. But I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people are slut shaming her. A lot of people are saying she's seeking attention. A lot of people are saying she's too young. A lot of people are just doing the most. And I wanted to bring my teeth to the table because what would tea time be without the tea? Okay, I want to bring this to the table because number one, I think we need to stop shaming young women who are trying to discover themselves. Like that's not a way. If you don't agree with how they're discovering themselves, shaming them isn't a way to express that or help them come to that realization of who they are. And the type of people that have an issue with doing this is church people, but that's a whole nother video. But no, seriously, I don't think she's doing it for attention. I think she's doing it because she's grown. And I think she's doing it because she's finally come into this realization of who she is and loving her body, loving who she is and being out in the open. It's almost like, y'all know them Disney Channel kids, like when they grow up, they're like, whoa, because for so long, Disney has told you how to act, how to be, especially if you have a younger audience. But now she's like, wait, no, mama, I'm grown. I want to do this. I want to experience life and I want to love my body. I want the world to love who I am, love how I look. And it's funny because her sister said on one of the tea times they had on Instagram Live, and she said, the Chloe that you're seeing is the Chloe that we've always known, like her and her family. She's like, this is nothing new. And I think that that's amazing that they have already embraced Chloe as who she is long before the world has, because now that the world has seen who she is, hopefully it'll be easier for her to like accept herself. I don't know. I just don't like the fact that they're shaming her because, again, whether you disagree how she's going about it on social media, showing her body, first of all, that's her business because she's grown. Let's start there. But that's just not a way of edifying, and that's not a way of telling your sister how you really feel. And we got to get better at how we address certain situations and how we just how we do things. We got to get better. So yeah. My next timeline rant of the day, I'm obviously going to talk about Grandma Cicely. Y'all, I was so sad because when I first heard of her passing, the first person I thought about was my grandmother because they were the same age. And I just thought about her wisdom. I thought about how much she did while she was here. I thought about how beautiful she was from the time of her. When we first met her, when I first met her, it was Miss Jane Pittman, which is super old, but my mom and my dad made me watch it, probably for a Black History Month video or something. I don't even know. But, yeah, like, I just thought about her life and I'm just like, oh my goodness. And then I listened to a lot of her videos leading up to her passing. And the theme that I heard the most in her last videos, she talked about living and how she could not believe that she lived this long. She couldn't believe that she impacted so many people. In one of her last episodes, or one of her last interviews with Gail said, do you feel like you have more to do? And Cicely said, yeah, I'm still here, right? And that thing stuck with me. It stuck with me because even at 96 years old, she felt like she still had more to do. And it wasn't because, oh, I'm 96, I still have more to do. Like, oh, I'm 20, obviously I have a life to live, right? It wasn't that. It had nothing to do with age or time. It had to do with the idea and the fact that she was still here. And I thought that was super crazy because I thought about Chadwick in that time too. And all of his interviews were just like, I'm just going to keep living. I'm going to keep doing what I have to do for the time that I'm here. And nobody knew he was sick. And the same with Cicely. It's just like, yo, going back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video, we always are looking at time or age or a moment, waiting for a moment to happen before we produce something or we create something. And this woman created and produced from the time she first discovered herself as an actor to 96 years old. And I'm just like, God, that's the type of life I want to live. I want to live. Okay. And there's a point that my dad actually said in one of his sermons recently, and he said the church has taught us how to die for God, but they have not taught us how to live for him. And that thing stuck with me too, because I'm like, that is so true. Like, we're taught about what not to do, what we can't do, how to die for him daily, how to, sacrifice our life and all this other stuff. But tell me how to live. Tell me how to obtain the promises that he said are for me. Tell me how to live abundantly like he said he wanted me to live. Why would God do that if all he's going to do is consistently take from me? Like, why would he say, I want you to live an abundant life if we ain't living abundantly? Okay, like, yes, God, I would die for you. I would do whatever you say. But I want to live for you too. And when people don't understand what living for God means, living for him doesn't just mean dying for him. It means living for him. So her death, between her, Chadwick, and Kobe, and all these other deaths, I'm just like, the theme of all these people, like, God is telling us to live and we're not even paying attention. Like, we don't even know. I feel like nobody's paying attention. We're just all thinking, 2020 done took somebody else, and 2021 is just like 2020. Like, no, like, y'all not paying attention. I really feel like God is telling us to live, because all of these people had so much life in them, and they lived their lives so well, and not just lived, but they lived it with purpose. And if any of these deaths aren't like flashing a light in front of you to discover your purpose and be who God has called you to be, then I need you to check your spirit. I need you to check who you are, because it's a bigger issue if this hasn't affected like you spiritually, or you emotionally, or you even as a human being. Like, if this isn't affecting you in any way, baby girl, you gotta check yourself. But yeah, those are the only two timeline rants I have for today, because we're getting a little lengthy. And yeah, so the tea of the day, y'all, is to live. It's to live. That's really all I have for you. Live your life unapologetically. Don't apologize for who you are. Don't apologize for serving Jesus. Don't apologize for being loud, shouting from the rooftop who he has created you to be. Do not be afraid. Do not apologize for who he has created you to be. Don't wake up in the morning and think about what you didn't do. Don't wake up in the morning and think about what you have to die from. Think about what you have to live for. Think about what God wants you to do to live an abundant life, the promises that he's made to you, because I don't want us to think about all of the bad things and all of the negative things of, living this life and being a disciple of Christ, when I really think he wants us to live a life that is beyond our expectations. And when we constantly place limits on him, when we constantly place boundaries on him, if God met all of your expectations, there will be no room for him to exceed them. There will be no room for him to move past them. If you said, God, this is my expectation, and he met this all the time, and that's it. It's like, what? There'll be no room for him to get the glory. There'll be no room for him to show you who he really is. And that's why he says, my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. Because listen, this is what you're thinking, which is constantly, consistently, always too small. And I'm a big God, and I want to do big things for you. So that is all I have for you today, y'all. Live unapologetically. Don't apologize for who you are. Don't apologize for who your God is, and just live for him. Don't just die for him, but live for him. Y'all, I hope that y'all enjoyed this episode. Seriously, I know it was long. I know it's a little weird because it's after midnight, so I couldn't really get into like the flow of my show how I wanted to, but I promise you this episode. So here it is. I love you. I love you. I love you. Tea Time will be coming. Season 3 will be coming as soon as I know what I'm doing. But bear with me, y'all, because I'm moving in the next couple of days. So a lot is going on, but I'm going to try to get as much content as possible for the YouTube channel so that people can kind of know what I've been doing. But that's what I've been doing. Moving, working my tail off, doing photography, doing real estate, doing graphics, doing a lot, basically. And I'm finally in the midst of me doing for other people, finally doing for me. So just bear with me, y'all. I love you, and I thank you so much for listening and watching consistently. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe, to be a part of the tea party, listen to the podcast, and just tell everybody that your girl will be back. I promise. Tell them that I love them. All right. Peace out.